I just thought there's two experiences on one flight over to Europe that now I probably will never see that second lady again, but the power of hello, like that, what she did, that kind gesture will stick with me forever.
Look, we're not here to sell you transformation. We're here to share some truths. Because this stage of life can sneak up on you in the best possible way.
There's a new quiet swagger that comes with it. One you earn simply by being you. We'll walk with you. You don't have to be anywhere else. Turns out it's good here. And sometimes it's even great.
Hi guys, good to be back.
Yes, and we wanted to do this one for a little while because we went overseas together recently, which is something we love doing, and I'm sure we'll talk about more because there were some things that happened overseas that really sparked for me things I wanted to talk about, community and just how powerful the word hello is. So today's episode is just a little different. It's a little more casual and close to the heart because, as I said, we've been thinking a lot lately just how powerful the word hello can be. Not necessarily in the grand philosophical sense, but in everyday real life way. It's the word that for me and Heather have opened doors, started friendships, including ours, shifted our energy. And honestly, I'm just realizing how much it can change the course of a day or a life, right? So today we're sharing a few stories, just some little moments, like really showing you how simple little moments where you say hello can lead to something unexpectedly beautiful. And it doesn't mean it has to be some huge community that you join or some life-changing event, but I think anything that changes your day is pretty special. And we're hoping it'll inspire you to say hello a little bit more often.
And the reason why we're doing this show is because Elli told me about a few of these stories recently. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that is way too good to not hit record on. So that is what we're doing. She's going to tell you about some experiences. I have a little surprise. I haven't told her something that happened to me either.
That I'm not telling you. And I like that. I want to get this out. She's kind of heard mine, but I haven't elaborated.
No.
So I'm going to start with my cute, simple one, right?
Please.
So this goes back to us being on the plane. Flew over by myself. Heather came later to Europe. And I just afterwards, I thought, oh, my God, we've got to do a podcast about this. Because I was sitting on the plane and I was on my own and I just said goodbye to my family. I was feeling a little sad and sorry. I nearly lost my phone at Sydney Airport. That's a whole other thing. There were some friendly faces sitting near me and I started chatting to the lady that was next to me. And it turns out that she lives near me. And we ended up, you know, we had a long layover on our way over in Dubai, both of us 6 hours plus. I booked into a lounge. She ended up joining me because she had a 7-hour layover. And all this is to say, like, I didn't know this woman when I stepped on that plane. And she ended up coming to the lounge with me, which was really nice for her. She was so happy that she didn't have to sit on a cold airport seat for like 8 hours. We had a shower, we chatted, we minded each other's bags. We didn't have to talk the whole time. It wasn't like that, but it was just so nice.
Who said hello first on the plane?
I did.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I was walking with friends and they're like, she's always chatting to someone. And that's what I do.
It's good.
But what's really cute is just a few weeks ago, we met here in Sydney and she came with me for a walk with our dog. And, you know, I think that's someone who's going to be a friend now. And all it was hello. I didn't get on the plane planning to make a friend. I'm happy to go into my own world. We didn't speak the whole time. We were on a 14-hour flight together. It's not about that, but we just had moments where we dipped in and out. And it made that first start when you leave home, especially if you're going on your own. And the first part of my trip was to go visit my near 90-year-old dad. So I was really excited and nervous and waiting to get there. And he was waiting for me. And just having that made it better. And I really thought, wow. Now, the second leg of my flight, she went somewhere else in Europe, so we weren't together then. The second leg was from Dubai to Hungary to see my dad. And again, I sat next to a lady and we didn't chat till the last 40 minutes of the 6-hour flight. And she was so lovely. And she asked me where I was going. And I said I was visiting my dad. And I told her whole story and he's waiting for me and he's aging now, so not so well. And so we just chatted. It was just a lovely way to pass the last little part of the flight. It was, you know, you're obviously tired by that point. As we walked off the plane, she ran up behind me and she gave me a box of chocolates. She was Indian and they were some sort of Indian delicacy. And she said, these are for your dad from me.
So gorgeous.
And I thought, like, honestly, I just wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Like, and I just thought there's two experiences on one flight over to Europe that now I probably will never see that second lady again, but the power of hello, like that, what she did, that kind gesture will stick with me forever. So it doesn't have to lead anywhere is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
And I'm glad you said that, because there's so many people, I watch it now when I go on airplanes too, because I travel a bit too, like you, and we even go together. But there's times when I sit down and I watch other people coming in and sitting down, and like, you're going to be on an airplane in a tight space with somebody and there's no exchange. There's zero hello.
In fact, you look away from each other. I think
ignore each other.
Put your earbuds in, like, don't talk to me.
Yeah. So I think the one thing I get from this is just saying hello. So every single time I sit down next to anyone on a plane, whether it's going to be a relationship conversation or nothing at all, it's still such a lovely gesture. Sit down, hi, how are you? Or just hello.
Like, especially for us from Australia, if we go to Europe, we're talking like 20 to 30 hours.
Yeah.
Like, whether you're in the lounge, whether you're sitting, whatever it is, waiting.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to lead to a lifelong friendship or a business opportunity. But my mum always said to me, a problem shared is a problem halved. So even if you end up chatting about something and they give you an insight, or you give one to them, or you make their day, like just this girl, Elli, I met, like going to the lounge together, and for that to make her trip on her own over so much nicer. Made my day. Like, I felt lifted by that, and she was happy. So now I want to hear about yours.
My one? Okay, cool. So I just live in the suburbs, lovely little suburbs, northern beaches of Sydney. So yes, it's not in the pretty heart of Sydney with like the bridge and the opera house and all that for you, those of you overseas listening in. So I'm northern side. So here I am in my local shops, and there's a shop called Baker's Delight. I don't go there, but I was walking by it.
I do.
It's naughty, you guys. It's like breads and things.
She might scroll.
Yeah, okay, they're good. So I was walking into Woolies, or, you know, like the local grocery store. And I was walking back, and I just clocked this girl. I looked over, and she was stunning. She's probably 15 or 16. And she was just sitting there, and she looked so sad. And she was so gorgeous. And I've always kind of heard sometimes the most attractive people are the loneliest. And it sucks.
Because people just think, they
have everything. Everything.
Yeah.
So I went out of my way to walk by, and I looked at her and I thought, okay, her eye makeup's immaculate. So I found something to compliment her on.
Specific
and true and real. So I walked up to her and I said, hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, hi. And she said, can I help you? I'm like, no. I just wanted to say to you how stunning your eye makeup looks today. And she was like so taken aback. Else, thank you so much. And her whole physiology lit up.
You made her day, whatever was going on.
And I walked away, and I kind of looked back out of the corner of my eye, and she was kind of like rocking in her place with this huge grin on her face. Yeah. So good. What else? Because you told me about something else that I was like, oh, we have to share this one too.
Oh, yeah. So last weekend, I was walking in the city with friends. We were just like, walking through the markets and having a lovely time. And next to me, I heard these ladies talking Hungarian, which in Sydney is not that common. You know, there are Hungarians in Sydney. And obviously, I mentioned before, I just went to visit my dad, who's moved back to Hungary after living in Sydney for 50 years. So I do speak Hungarian. Yeah. And so it's rare that I hear it. And I had this millisecond where I thought, do I interject and say hello, or do I let these ladies like have their conversation? But I thought, no, say hello, A, because like we're all about hello. Yeah. And B, it's like I have no one to practice Hungarian with in Sydney. When I talk to my dad every week. So I turned around in Hungarian. I said, look, hello, good day. And they looked at me in, happy surprise, because I think for them, obviously, they don't also have that happen a lot. True. And literally, and I mean within a minute, we were having this full-on conversation, because immediately you have that connection, like, you're Hungarian or your background is Hungarian. And I very quickly learned that they've both lived here for 10, 15 years, but they have come from Hungary. And then one of them randomly, like literally 30 seconds in, said, do you have your Hungarian passport? Which is not like a common question.
Kind of random thing to ask.
I said, actually, I'm in the middle of applying for it, because I just thought it'd be handy to have my Australian one as well as Hungarian. And because I'm really like interested in my Hungarian roots and learning more about where I come from. I didn't think anything of the question in that second, but now looking back, wow. Anyway, they said, well, we're actually from the Hungarian consulate. And the thing is that I've had this application for a year, and it is so complicated and so long and so many questions, and it's all in Hungarian that even my dad's relatives, when I took it over with me, were like, this form is really hard to fill out, and they couldn't help me. And I put it on the bottom of my to-do list thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. Like, I might just not bother. And I shared this with them, and they said, oh, we know it's hard. Look, we can help you. Like, that's what we do. And I just, like, normally you just don't have contacts like that you can lean on, or you don't know what to do, because consulates are hard to get in contact with. And
are they like that? You feel them as like that faceless big government entity, right?
And they were so sweet and lovely, and they understood. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I can get this done. Like, because I just thought, oh, they're just not, I'm never going to do the form right, so it's not going to happen. But how, like, if I did not say hello, and for a millisecond I thought about not poking my nose into their business because they were in the middle of a lovely conversation, I am so glad I did, because that's just such a big thing on my list. Honestly, it's been sitting there for a year, and I don't know if I would have got to it. And all I did was say hello, and they were so friendly and warm and lovely. And they might even become friends. I don't know.
How did you do it, by the way? Because that's what I want to ask. Like, how do you actually, it's like, do you just kind of lean in and go, hello?
You know what? In this case, because of the situation, and they were speaking in Hungarian right next to me, like they were standing next to me looking at this market stall, I just turned, and in Hungarian I said, good afternoon, and instantly enough. But I think that's a rarity, that the language thing. But I think it's what you said about that girl. When you hear, and I do this all the time, you hear people talking, you overhear, and you can interject on whatever that is. Later that day, I was with these friends, the same friends that said, you're always talking to someone, are you stopping? And this is what happened. This is a more easy example to explain it, because obviously the Hungarian language one is quite unique. I heard this guy saying, oh, gosh, I'm really loud, but I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun. And I turn around, I go, be excited. It is fun. So you can interject with whatever you hear someone say that is authentic to you. So I am an excitable person. Your example where you said a compliment to that girl that was real and true. It wasn't like just, oh, you look good today. Like you have beautiful eye makeup, or you can say your outfit looks beautiful. I think all you have to do is you hear a little snippet, or you see something that is like true for you to say. Don't or don't fabricate or try not to be you. Like, because I'm excitable, I heard that guy go, I'm so excited, I'm too loud, sorry everyone around me. And I'm like, do not be sorry. And then we had a little conversation, and the ladies, the friends that I was with, were like, you're always talking to someone. But it's so easy when you do it. You just find commonality that's true for you. And again, those boys that said that I had that moment where I stopped, almost certainly never ever going to interact with them again. But it was fun to have that 1 minute conversation. Like, that's what all the little moments in life are made up. And again, who knows where that could have led, if that was meant to lead somewhere like it did with the other ladies.
Very good point.
And you can just make new friends everywhere. I was in Hungary with my stepsister, and she introduced me to one of her friends. And if you're just open to like being warm with those people, suddenly we're at a wine festival together, then we're at their house for dinner, and now next year when I go back to visit my dad in Hungary, they want me to join them on whatever European week they do somewhere. And that's just all by being warm with your hello, I think.
I love that. You just made me think of something. I know we're going to wrap up in a minute, but my mom the other day said to me something that was really good. She said, your great-grandmother, so my mom's grandmother, she said, it's not a good day unless somebody's told you their story.
Oh, man, that's gorgeous. And it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to be afraid. I think, and that's the thing, I think to wrap up, one of the reasons we hold back is fear of awkwardness, or maybe being dismissed or embarrassed or being too much. But it's just, you can just pick a simple little thing that you're comfortable with, and it's like a doorway to a possible connection, maybe just making your day or someone else's. It could be a community you build. We've talked about that with Gay. And, at the coffee community that she and I are part of, or it could lead to an opportunity or just belonging. But I don't think you'll ever regret saying it, but don't regret missing the chance be just a smile, eye contact, or a simple acknowledgement. And I think that's so, so gorgeous. Yeah.
It's the gateway to kindness, I feel.
I think kindness is so much easier. Yeah. Hello. Much more powerful world than I thought.
This is where we share voices worth listening to on today's topic. Good to know. Up next.
Hi, my name's Justin Harold and I'm the CEO of Customer Culture and ServiceRebellion.com. I'm here to talk about words. You know, words are very important. It's something that I train staff and business owners on a daily basis on the power of those words and how they can actually cut through, or they can destroy, or they can actually ruin a business because there's nothing behind, there's no substance behind those words. A simple hello goes a very long way. Weirdly, it's old-fashioned stuff that for those listening might have understood this. Back in the olden days, it was all about connection. And we've become so funky with business and so funky with the world that we've simplified things so much that we've lost that connection. And so this is when we understand that the words have power. But with those words need to come intent, and there needs to be true meaning behind those words. Just saying to someone, how are you going, does not actually interpret that you care. You know, in reality, if you go into some retail stores these days, you could probably replace most staff with a parrot, because that's all you're getting. You're getting the same stock standard thing for everyone going in. So if you have relationships with your customers and clients, if you have relationships with your friends, always understand that the power of words can actually bridge a gap. And when they bridge that gap, what they do is they create what I call a buffer. What a buffer is, in a business sense, if you stuff up or something goes wrong with one of your clients, because they've had great experiences, because they have great connections with you, you've created a buffer. And they are more forgiving. And that comes through connection, and that comes through intent. Hopefully you got something out of this today.
Next up, we hand things over to someone younger to decode a trend, a slang word, or something we've missed. All right, let's get the cool kids to explain.
Hi everybody, my name is Blake. I'm 26 years old. I work in sales as a business development manager. I've been in that role for just on 3 years now. And the big part of my role day to day is meeting with new business owners. So on average, I'll meet with 3 to 5 new people every single day. And a big part of that is introductions and fostering new connections and maintaining relationships. And it's absolutely changed my life. So confidence with the first hello is super crucial because first impressions last. So whether it's a personal relationship or a business relationship, the trust that you build initially with that person is super important. And ultimately, I think that's been a massive part of the success that I've had in my own career. So as a young man, I certainly wasn't considered the most confident type. It's something that I have had to train over time to become better with. And I've realized now in my own life how many more opportunities I've had access to because of that. And something that's helped me over time is simple compliments when meeting someone new. So it might be, hey, I love your jacket, or I love your shoes, something small. An example of that is a gentleman that I met a couple of years ago who's become a mentor for me in my own life, in sales and just in general day-to-day. I started with a compliment of his suit and his tie. And over the last couple of years, we've become super close, and he has mentored me in my own life to get to positions that I never thought possible. And had that not been a simple hello and a simple compliment, I don't know if we would have maintained a relationship, but here we are.
Every episode, we pause for wisdom from someone who's been through it and learned a thing or two. Here's a word from the wise.
When I'm down at the wharf and I see somebody I don't know, I usually look at them, usually look and smile and look them in the eye and say hello. And usually there's a interaction starts there. They usually respond to that. And I try to make them feel comfortable asking them something about themselves. Why are you here? Where have you been? Are you local? Or whatever. And they feel comfortable because I'm not threatening to them. I enjoy it because it's not about me. I'm more interested in them. So I really want to talk to them. And I want to find out why they're down here, what their lives are like. For me, friendliness is really something you choose. And maybe something you learn as well down the track. You can learn it, I think, if you have an intention to be friendly. I think it's natural to some people. I think that's inherent in their makeup, nurture, If you have to learn it because you're lonely and you want to get to meet people, then you have to learn it. And you have to make a decision to be friendly. You have to be brave and look someone in the eye and smile, engage them, start talking to them about them, not you, because you don't really want to know about you because you already know about you. You really want to know about somebody else's life, which is much more interesting than yours most of the time. Yeah. So I think you can learn it if you have the intention. If you really want to make friends, you can. It doesn't matter what other people think about you, ever, right? Because they're going to think it anyway. So don't worry about it. And you can always just make the move to be friendly. If it doesn't work, so you try it again. I had a major thing happen in my life in being friendly in the last year and a half or so by meeting my friend Elli. And that was by me seeing her beautiful boots that she had on and me remarking, "Where'd you get those boots?" And then we sat down and talked and just connected over a pair of boots. And from there on in, we have had a great friendship. I've met her beautiful girlfriends as well, whole family, become my family, and very, very dear to me and really changed my life. It's a big part of my life.
In our next episode, we're asking a bold question. What if friendship isn't enough anymore? Turns out something good might be closer than you think.